Hey everyone, you're listening to the Breezy Moms Podcast, a weekly show that chronicles the adventures of motherhood. I'm Candace. Now let's start the show. Hey guys, I'm so excited to be here. Thanks so much for listening. We are live on digitalstreamradio.com /
live stream.
I literally just blanked. Or you can go to Digital Stream Radio and click on Listen Live.
Yes.
Yeah, I did
Push
it.
that little button and you're there. Hi, Candace.
Hi, Tom. How are you?
How's it going? Oh my God, I'm tongue twisted today.
I know. Well, we're drinking this fancy potion that is from your show. I was listening to your show, and the way that Chris described this, I was like, I really hope there's still some left. This was the first thing I asked for. What were you calling it? Slut juice?
Slut juice.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Slut juice, and the base is Franzia.
Yes.
Box wine. I was laughing so hard. I was like, oh my God, these guys are crazy. But it's delicious. It tastes like a melted watermelon lollipop.
Yeah, because we ended up putting, I think it was lemons, peaches, strawberries.
Yeah.
All up in there.
It's delicious. I mean, it tastes like candy. I know there's rum in there, and so I'm just going to have the one glass.
No, actually, we based it with vodka.
Oh, vodka. Well, I meant some kind of actual liquor.
Yeah. Trish doesn't do rum, so we can't. We can't do rum cocktails because he won't drink them.
And yeah, I think everybody has a issue with, like, has a memory, a dark, twisted memory with rum or tequila.
Or gin.
I never drank gin.
I feel like all people drink in college is just gin and tonics.
What kind of fancy bougie place did you go?
Well, no, it's just that, I'm a bartender. So when I bartend, that's all these
But you know what? It's one of those drinks that sounds like you know what you're talking about. Oh, I'll have a gin and tonic. But tonic water is disgusting.
It is.
I accidentally got that once because I thought it was this. I was like, oh, seltzer. And it is not.
No, it's it's almost like salty,
it's just like
and bitter.
Alcoholic business. Like, I don't understand. You must just totally block it out because you just need something to carry your booze.
Disgusting.
But I really feel like you just might as well drink the booze if you're at that point that something disgusting like tonic is what you. Ugh.
Yeah, it's disgusting tonic belongs with disgusting gin because I can't tolerate gin.
Either of them. And what is the brand of gin that is fancy? Great. Is it gray?
No, you
that's
can
vodka.
do. Let's see. They have Hendrix is one, but that's usually considered bar or well gin. But you can do
that green Tanqueray.
You can do Tanqueray, or you can do what's the other one? I'm blanking out. I'm
just remembering the green bottle.
No, it's a blue bottle. Oh God, I see it in the
Sky.
bar. No,
that's vodka.
That's vodka. Oh my God, I can't believe I can't remember.
Are you a bartender?
This.
What kind of bartender are you?
I am.
Judgment.
It'll come to me.
Okay. Anyway, the show's not about booze, and I probably just went in a little too hard. I'm sorry, but it's disgusting. I stand by it. It's disgusting.
It is. It is just absolutely horrible. I don't know.
But just for tequila and rum, Bacardi is rum, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So there's always a story. There's like a reason I don't drink tequila. There's a reason I don't drink Bacardi.
They make it on my island.
I know. Puerto Rico.
Yeah, you have the Bacardi factory. You can go and taste all different kinds of stuff.
No, I've been to Puerto Rico, but I've never been to the Bacardi factory. I really like
Sapphire.
Oh yeah,
Sapphire's the other
gin.
gin. Okay,
that sounds fancy.
I knew it was coming to me.
It sounds fancy. There's the drink from Puerto Rico that for a while you couldn't get it here, and now it's here. It's a rum.
151.
No, that's death. No, I know what that is.
Don Q?
Don Q.
Yeah.
Don Q, for a while you couldn't get it, and we would just like smuggle it in.
Well, if you buy it at the duty free, you can bring it in.
Right. Yeah, I know, but you couldn't get it here, so you'd run out. You're like, okay, when am I going to get to go back to Puerto Rico? But Don Q with Fanta Limon, it's just like heavenly.
It's some good rum.
It's heavenly. So when I finally saw it in Hamden. One day I was like,
where did this come from?
I might turn into an alcoholic. No, we did buy one bottle. I don't think I've had it since then. This is the first time I've thought about it in years. So maybe on our next run we'll pick up some danku.
Oh, she's gonna go get some
Ooh,
danku.
fancy. Well, I haven't. I've only had like wine and maybe champagne once or twice in 4 years. Like I've been nursing for 4 years, so I haven't been able to. Like I just don't drink hard liquor anymore. Some wine, do like a little Frenchie. Oh, I can drink wine. Never hurt anybody.
Yes.
But actual hard liquor, I haven't had in a very long time. Except, I guess now in this drink.
And it's actually
sangria.
Pretty good.
You can't taste it.
It was very little.
Yeah.
We didn't put too much because obviously the base is still
Franzia.
Yeah.
The box juice, the juice box, is making me think of Will and Grace when Karen used to have it in her purse.
Oh, she's a mess. But I love that. She's one of my favorite characters on that show, by the way.
And it's amazing when you go back. This is not what the show is about again, but these are the tangents that I just love to go on. But when you go back and binge watch that show and you see the evolution of Karen, how she sort of started out as this weird, bougie, uppity white lady, that was kind of funny, but her accent was just annoying. I mean, the accent that she landed on is annoying, but it's annoying in a funny way. Mm-hmm. It's annoying in a way that makes fun of the original one that she was doing. And it's just funny, interesting to watch
over the seasons.
Yeah, over the
seasons.
Did
like 9 seasons.
Yeah. And I can't deny that when it came back, I really wasn't interested.
Aww.
I felt bad. But I think I'd feel the same way about Friends. You just like sort of leave it where it ended on a good note. But the translation 10, 15, 20 years later is weird.
Yeah, it's a long time.
Yeah.
To see those characters. I mean, it's amazing. They're still funny, but it's not
they're
the
still
same.
funny. But I think as a grown-up now, thinking that they're still the same characters from 15 years ago, I'd like to think that I've changed a little bit.
Yeah.
In those 15 years, and they didn't.
Yeah, but you look at it in a different perspective too. It's no longer something that you do to enjoy. Now you're sort of kind of like, well,
I'm a grown up.
I can't watch you anymore because now I got to watch Blue's Clues and all these other things that my children hijack my TV.
That's true. Every time I turn on my YouTube, Peppa Pig is on the top, or like it's like scroll pages and pages of kid stuff before it gets to anything that I remotely am interested in. And now Emery calls like Power Rangers by name. It doesn't come out as Power Rangers, but I absolutely know what he's saying. He goes, Power Rangers, and then he sings the song. Na, na, na. There's a lot of Power Rangers going on in my house.
Kids are funny though.
And right now they're really into Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, which is the original, which is from when I was little. And so I tell Lincoln, I was like, oh, I used to watch this. He's like, no, you don't. No, you didn't. You don't know this. You don't know anything about Saber-Tooth Tiger. I was like, what?
We grew up on this stuff.
Yeah, he's really into it. But do you want to know something about the boys?
I do, but before we go there, why don't we first say happy birthday, America? Right?
Oh, I was going to do that next because I don't care. Is that terrible?
Well, I mean, I'm
feeling some way.
Yeah, I'm feeling some way. I'm grateful that I live in a country and where, I have been given an opportunity to do many things with myself. And I'm sure that you may or may not feel the same way. Yeah. But there are certain things that are happening in today's day and age that are really alarming, Well,
I think it's pretty facey. And I don't know if you know that term, facey.
No.
It's like a Caribbean. It means, what does it mean? I don't know what it means. But it's like two-faced. That's what it is. It's two-faced. It's two-faced, but a shorter way to say it.
Facey.
So it's a little facey for us to be, for us. I want to distinguish myself from the us right now, but for America to be all excited about their independence while simultaneously right now putting people and children in cages who are seeking asylum from places where they're being oppressed, right? Like they're looking for independence, they're looking for safety, and we're like setting off fireworks because yay for us, but no to you.
Yeah, it's and I had it in thought when I was watching the fireworks. I'm like, what are we celebrating really? We've gone so far off the edge of what we as Americans think that America stands for, that really is just, it's unnerving.
Did you see Mike Pence in Brazil to speaking from the heart to Central Americans, don't come, if you can't come legally, don't come on a road paved by drug cartels and traffickers or some foolishness.
I don't pay attention to anything that he says. So to be honest with you, I have yet to see that man speak on TV since he was elected as vice president.
It's terrible.
The only one I pay attention to is the other one that I really truly dislike as a human.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think he's probably not human.
And only because, the only reason why I pay attention, one is because I need to have material for my show.
Right.
And that is just amazing material to have. And two, what comes out of that man's mouth has consequences for everyone, including all these tariffs and everything that, that he's just throwing out there and all these fights that he's picking with allies. And, we're looking at over $1 billion in tariffs that are being imposed on the U.S. right now from multiple allies that will hurt local, national brands. Like whiskey brands like Jack Daniels and stuff like that. So, and they're not happy at all that they're
and they voted for him. I know they did.
Oh well,
you did.
You reap what you sow.
I know, right? It's just it's crazy, and that's huge and is important. But that's not even the stuff that I see on my when I'm doing my high level, at least stay a little bit engaged in what's going on. It's more like national parks opening to mining, national parks opening to oil companies, and
speaking of that,
that's the kind of thing that is coming up on my feed.
Guess who resigned today?
Oh, thank God, Pruitt's gone. Yeah, he's such a punk.
Yeah, $40,000 soundproof phone booth in his office for what? Are you that scared of shit getting out? Right. Sorry, excuse me.
All the things that you're saying. Yeah, it's terrible. It's terrible.
But anyway.
That's not what the show is about.
I know. I have a question for you.
I'm listening.
How are the boys?
The boys are great. The boys are living their best life. Even in the shitty time, they don't know that it's shitty around them because they are legit living their best life. We just spent 4 days with some girlfriends of mine at my friend's house on a lake. And we've been there before, but at 4 years old, this is the first time that Lincoln is really taking it all in and really cognizant of what's happening around him. And so he was just, all about the water from the moment his eyes open. We had to pull them out because you guys are going to have heat exhaustion out here. It's too hot. And this weekend was really, really hot. So just all day in, they have a jet ski. So he wants to be on the jet ski. They use the jet ski as an island. They're swimming to it. And my friend's sons, are 6 and 7. Yeah. So they're older than him, but he's almost as big as they are. So he was really holding up with them the whole time. It was really cute because they would say things like, well, you're only 4. And he's like, no, I am 4. I am 4.
I'm this kind of 4, not this kind of 4. Okay. Not this.
So don't try and lump me in with the little babies over here. I am 4, but I'm 4, right? That's how his voice.
Don't you dare put me in a little box.
I know. Nobody puts baby in the corner. So he was really holding up, and he did swim lessons for a year last year, and it really seemed like it was all coming back to him. He had on a floaty, so nobody's going to die, but he was just really excited and really, really just going for it under the water, just really going for it and not afraid of water over his head or any of that sort of stuff that kids are often scared about when they're not really familiar with the water. And then Emery also living his best life in the water, just no fear, run. We had to really watch him all weekend because he would just take off. He would go to the edge, and I would be maybe 89% sure that he wasn't going to jump. But at least he had on the life jacket. But that's because I'm only 89% sure that he's going to listen to me at any moment in time. I legit just bought a leash. I was going to buy the leash backpack, which is a backpack that comes with a string attached so you can it's got a harness on it so you can keep them in check. And I'm pretty sure at some point in my life, before kids or after kids, that I've judged people who've had their kids in those things. It often looks wild when you see it out in public, but I now have a runner. and like a legit runner. Like he just yanks his hand out of your hand and before you know it, he's gone. Or he kind of walks away a little bit and you think, oh no, he's good. And then he looks back at you and then and smirks and then he takes off running. And so by that point, he's, 2 steps too far. I had to chase him out of Home Depot 2 days ago because and there are no steps. And even if is a step off the sidewalk, he just in stride just runs right off, runs up right off. And so I was at the dollar store and I was like, let me start somewhere. And I bought a leash and a collar and I attached the leash because I already have a book bag for him. So I attached the leash to the book bag and then I'm using the collar to turn the arm straps into a harness. Gotcha. So, to keep it on his chest kind of thing. So, we had it on today. It kind of worked a little bit, but we didn't go far. We weren't out walking a lot. So, I'm looking for the next opportunity to get to use it to see, because I feel like he's going to realize what it is and just start grabbing on it and try to run off with the leash.
Gotcha.
I don't know. Maybe I should call it something else. Leash just sounds really bad, but
Chris used to wear a leash. His mom used to put a leash on him. Mm-hmm.
But if you're,
he was crazy.
He's crazy. He's crazy, and he just takes off, and he's so strong, and now he's fast. And for me, really, especially with 2 kids, and then with taking care of other kids, if I run after him, I'm leaving someone behind, and it's such a scary. It's such a scary moment.
And then the thing is, too, when they start running and they know that you're chasing them, they run even faster.
Right. So I always have
to... It's like my dogs. Right? It's like Fitz. Every time he goes under the fence and I go chasing...
Right. He thinks it's a game.
Yeah. And he takes off even faster. And now he's booking.
Right. So I'm always in this way of, when you're trying to sneak up on something. So you're kind of walking in the direction, but you're looking around.
Yeah.
So don't make eye contact until you're close enough to grab them. But he's definitely a runner, so much that now Lincoln calls him a runner. He's like, are you holding Emery's hand? Because he's a runner.
Oh, Lord. Yeah, they're so absorbent, too. Mm-hmm. They hear you say it. Oh, he's a runner.
They really are. So then my friend just bought a new house. I'm so excited for her.
That's awesome.
And she has a pool now.
Oh.
So excited for her and also for me. It's about half an hour from our house. So I'm really trying to find ways to get to her house at least once a week because 1, I love her.
Playdates.
And 2, it's hot as shit out here.
Yeah.
So getting to have a place to go to the pool, it's kind of incredible, especially being a Black woman, Black people. There's always this joke, this long running joke that Black people can't swim. It was a big deal was it last year when that girl, Dominique somebody, is that her name? Won the gold medal in swimming.
No, Dominique.
Maybe her name is not Dominique.
No, Dominique was
Sabrina. I can't remember her name. Anyway, she won, and she's Black, and it was a big deal because
Dominique does gymnastics.
I know, but I feel like her name.
It could be.
Might be. But maybe it's something else, like Sabrina or something.
Because then you have Gabby.
So Gabby is gymnastics, and then there's this, and then what's the other new gymnastics one? The little one, who was adopted by her grandparents.
Oh God!
Maybe her name is Sabrina.
And
I don't know why I think somebody's name is Sabrina. Anyway, the whole point is there's this running joke about Black people that Black people can't swim, forgetting, the decades of time where Black people were not allowed to go into swimming pools, right? We don't have access to pools to practice, and then you make fun of us for not being able to swim. Anyway, so she's really big on making sure that her girls know how to swim. She's actually learning how to swim in her 40s for the first time. And, we haven't been to swim lessons in a while, but I was really insistent that Lincoln start going to swim lessons. We just want to make sure that forget the stereotype. I don't know if that's if that qualifies as a stereotype, probably does. But even just beyond that, I want to make sure that my kids can swim for safety reasons, right? You want to get to be by the water and anybody can drown, but you want to have a chance.
Of course. I agree.
You want to have a chance.
I mean, you never know. You probably could be somewhere and all of a sudden you've got a flash flood and you're in a stream of water and you need to learn how to... Or you
fall in, you go to a party and the party is by the pool and somehow someone knocks you in or whatever. Just any kinds of situations can arise and you should know how to swim.
I agree.
So I'm really excited for this opportunity. I'm excited for her and by extension for us because it's really hot. And he had a blast. The two of them, the Emery, the baby, was also super excited to be in the water. And then they like passed out hard on the way home.
Kids usually do. I mean, I know we were having an off air conversation about this, but I remember when I was a child, I grew up in Yonkers, and we used to go to this Tibbetts Park up in Westchester, and they had a huge pool. And I remember we would go there and be there all day. And by the time we came back, I was ready to eat a whole caldero full of rice by myself. I was literally like starving.
Yeah.
Because, you're using a lot of your muscles when you're in the
you don't even realize it.
And it's always so much fun, but we were.
I know. And back in that time, we were only in the water for an hour today. The whole visit was only 2.5 hours long, and it still felt like enough. But when I was little, you go to the pool, and you're there all day.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I remember, when we were little, my mom used to let me go.
Right.
Just go and then come back. And I would literally go, and it was like almost a 3-mile walk.
Wow.
To get to this park. And you had to cross this very busy roadway. And then you go through the woods, and there was a little bridge that went over the highway.
This is in Yonkers?
Yes. That went over the highway, what do they call that? The Sawmill River Parkway.
Oh, yeah.
And then once you cross it, you're in the park. Okay. And then you would go in, and then we would like sort of kind of jump the fence get in the pool and hang out all day, and then go back and eat.
The pools in the Bronx, I remember you either had to be there really early or you just spent a whole lot of time on a line.
Yeah.
Like everybody's online
Did you ever
waiting.
go to Van Cortlandt?
Where's Van Cortlandt Park?
It's on Broadway. All
in
the
Yonkers?
way in Yonkers, all the way at the end, going towards New York City.
Yeah, no, I don't know that one. I'm thinking about the pool. I don't even know if it's still there. There used to be a pool near Yankee Stadium. I'm from the South Bronx. And so you go and you got to get there pretty early, and then you're just waiting for people to come out because there wasn't like a time limit where you had to be in there, but at a certain point, they couldn't let more people in.
Yeah, because I think there was a limit.
There's always a limit of amount of people, and so you're just kind of standing outside, hoping to get in, burning under the sun, waiting to get in. And so I have lots of memories of like waiting online to get into the pool, and then finally getting in.
That's why I appreciate a lot of the all these little like water parks that are springing up.
Yeah,
all over the city.
I wonder I wonder if they're called splash pads for the kids now. I wonder if that ends up being less expensive than the maintenance of a pool, even though the water's constantly running.
Well, a lot of that water gets reused too. There's pumps that repump that water.
Oh, interesting.
And
that's a good point.
Yeah, I think that underground, I was watching this program, they have like this reservoir. And as the water keeps evaporating, the reservoir fills up, but most of the time that water's recycling.
Oh, good. I guess that's good. And then I guess it also reduces the liability of drowning and that kind of thing.
And, of course, having those little pads and stuff is always good. But I've seen in the past 15 years a lot of those spring up all over the city because,
there are a few near my house.
Before that, all we had was a fire hydrant, really.
Right. And this is much better than having kids in the street.
I almost died.
I do remember fire hydrants. Oh,
I was 5 years old and I got hit by a car at a fire hydrant. I was there with my brother and my cousin, and Mom was home making pasteles.
Oh my God.
And the car came out of nowhere. I was playing with a dog, and the car hit me. I ended up under the car. The guy who hit me put me in his car and took me to the hospital.
Wow.
And then my brother went back home and told my mother that I was dead.
Shit.
And she lost it.
Oh my God.
And she arrived at the hospital with no sneakers, no shoes, no nothing, in a muumuu with no bra. She probably had no panties either.
Yes.
And so when she got there, she had no ID, no nothing.
Right.
She was just panicked.
Right.
And they didn't let her in. And she said, screw this, I'm finding my son.
Right.
She found me because I was screaming and crying because they were doing the stitches.
Oh my God.
And I had 122 stitches on my forehead. Like, I don't know if you can see this little scar here.
I see it.
And down here. But yeah, that was an experience for her. I don't remember much of it.
Right.
All I remember is all the money I got afterwards.
Oh my.
When I turned 21, I was like, ooh, I'm rich. No. I blew through that so quick.
Oh my God. It's the worst.
Yeah. But
I'm glad you're okay. That's why they're doing splash pads.
Yeah, I think that's why Mom says that I'm the smart one in the family. She goes, they must have knocked some senses into
Right.
me. But it's nonetheless is not a situation any parent wants to be, but which is why splash pads are amazing.
And we had actually sort of in that vein, we had a conversation at my friend's house. I think it was the first morning that we were there. She must have just seen something. But she was like, I'm going to say this out loud because it's on my mind and I just want to make sure everybody's okay. When there are a lot of adults and a lot of children in a space, say like for a weekend away or whatever, there becomes this sort of, what's it called? I'm looking for the right word. That means that responsibility, it's like a diffusion of responsibility. And so a lot of times, maybe not often is not the right word, but some extreme cases, everybody thinks the baby is with someone else. And then the baby has been gone out of the house, like walked out of the door. And nobody knows like when somebody actually goes, oh, where's the baby? Oh, he's with Sarah. Oh no, he's with Candace. Oh no, and then you realize.
And they all panic.
And everybody panics because everybody thinks they were with someone else. And so it was great because when I was leaving, James was saying the same things for me. You're going to the water. Make sure you watch my kids. Don't let my kids fall in the water. Like, but when you hear that from your spouse, you're like, hey, I'm doing you a solid by taking them so that you can go and do what you want to do. Don't be harassing me. Obviously, I'm going to be watching them. You know what I mean? But when someone else on the outside says it to you, you sort of receive it in a different way. And I go, oh, you're right. You're right, because I actually don't know where he is right now. You know what I mean? Like, I think he's out playing. And it's so scary because especially we thought actually it probably would have been easier if we all had 2-year-olds. But because we have 2, 3, 4, 6, and 8, the older kids are opening up the door and running out and forgetting to close the door. And the toddler is just walking out behind them.
Time for that leash.
The toddler or even the 3-year-old. The 4-year-old, my 4-year-old kind of is reasonable. A lot of times today he was outside at the park and he goes, Mom, can I play hide and seek with these kids that I was playing with? Like most of the time he comes to me. But the 3-year-old, her 3-year-old and my 2-year-old are wild. They're just wild. And so it was and runners. Both of them are runners and we're right by the lake. And so it was interesting because we got into this cool parenting conversation because one, I was like, yeah, you're right. I don't want them, I could argue this and be like, no, we're going to be fine. And then there's a problem, and it's better to be overprotective and make sure everybody's fine than to be really loosey-goosey and then you're sad about it later.
One thing I noticed with parents, sometimes like they're having conversations and it's very common in parents to see them not looking at each other while they're having conversations because you have 20 eyes all over the place.
Right.
And so you have to learn the gift of being able to look away and know what your friend is saying or know what your fellow parent is saying. But yet not make eye contact because you're worried about what's going on. So it's like doing two things at once.
And you can be good at that and still for 1 second lose it. And there was a point and so this is what happened. There was a point we were all talking and we heard the kids, they were playing. And then all of a sudden we realized it was quiet. And all of us were like, wait, they were just playing and they had opened the door and they had all went out into the front yard. But it was like, and who knows how long it actually was, but we're all sitting in the kitchen and we're all listening to them playing. And then someone goes, wait, why is it so quiet? And everybody's like, wait, holy shit. We take off running.
I do that all the time with my dogs. Like when they're silent.
Yeah.
They're
that's when you have to find them.
It's interesting. When you have a puppy, craziness is amazing. As long as they're crazy and they're going nuts, you know where they are. You can hear them. The moment you can't hear them.
Right.
Find them.
Yeah, you should find them.
Because you just lost a pillow. Yeah. You lost a couch.
Emery now likes to put all the rags into the sink and run the water.
Oh, God.
Because I keep all these washcloths in the bathroom so that they can have a washcloth every time they wipe their hand. So you have a nice, clean, fresh one. And so he now takes all of the clean ones, dumps them in the sink, and then runs the water.
Oh, so I was like, holy water damage.
Water overflowing in the sink. It's just, they're just wild. So this diffusion of responsibility thing hit me. And then I have a friend who's really into, the thing that came to mind was loose parenting. That's not what she would say. free range parenting.
This is not a chicken. But
no, it's not a chicken.
But go ahead.
She's like, free range parenting means that kids learn their boundaries so that they learn their boundaries so that they can keep themselves out of trouble. So like they know that they can't. So she was letting her son, who's 7, but also goes to swim school, like he knows how to swim. She's like, oh, he can go and swim. He knows that he can't go past a certain distance, or she just allows him to do things that me and my friend were just like,
no.
But then also there was this idea that we're in a new environment. Mm-hmm. So she lives on a corner. It's a blind corner. We're right next to the lake. I'm okay with a little bit of free range. Like today we went to the splash pad and Emery was sleeping. So I pulled up right in front of the park and was like, you can play here where I can see you, but I have to stay in the car with Emery while he takes a nap. That felt free range to me, right? I wasn't right outside, right next to him, but I could see him. And I just feel like there's got to be some kind of boundary. It's like free range within boundaries. And she said, yeah, well, that's us putting our adults
it's like,
boundaries on kids.
I mean, I'm not comparing children to chickens, but it's like, you have free range chickens, but you still have a gate around your proproperty because you want to keep them in there.
Right. You can free range around here.
Yeah, sort of, kind of.
Yeah. So what she said was that you can't, she agrees you can't just start free ranging your kids, right? You can't just wake up one morning and be like, oh, I'm into free range now, let them go. You either have to have been doing it all along or really scaffold them into free range so that they get used to it. They get used to it. You get used to it. They take accountability. So it's a very interesting thing to see, especially as a person of color, Black person who's like, culturally, there's not a whole lot of free range, even though I think maybe sometimes people think that kids of color, Black kids, are sort of, get to do whatever they want in some way. I actually think white kids get to do what they want more than...
And get away with it.
Get away with it.
That's the important part.
Then
let's make that absolutely
Black
clear.
Kids or kids of color. Like, I just feel like I knew... I didn't know with my mom. My mom's game was, you don't know me. You think you know me, but you don't know how crazy I can be. Test me. I will come out here in a muumuu with my boobs swinging, screaming with a bat, and just embarrass the shit out of you in front of all these people. Try me if you want to. Like, you just never knew what she was going to do, and I wasn't willing to find out.
I knew how crazy my mother could get, which is why I never tested her.
Right. And I didn't, so I also didn't test her.
I won't tell you stories, of what mom did to us to make sure we grew up straight boys. Right. And I don't mean straight in the sense that, she was anti-gay. I just mean straight like in...
Straight and narrow.
Straight and narrow, and knowing your position, knowing your place, and knowing what you needed to do.
Right.
Because she didn't play.
Didn't play. So anyway, I don't think that free range comes to me as naturally as... my friend, it is coming to my friend, and she's like working through it with her son. It's beautiful to watch. It's definitely a thing, and a thing you have to have the right mindset for. Set up yourself, and then set up your kid, and I think be able to defend it to other people, right? And she was doing a great job, because we were just like, nah, we're not doing that.
I just feel like free range for you would probably be nearly impossible, because I mean, you're the type of person that, for example, when you think about things or something happening, you immediately go to death. It's not going to work.
It's not my thing. Yeah, it's not my thing. It's free range in our backyard, right? I can see you through the window. Stay right there. So it's the whole parenting thing is interesting. Well, what I wanted to talk about tonight, which I think I've talked about in the past, maybe in a little bit, is a little bit more on self-care.
And that's important.
And self-care as a mom. So I think the last time we talked about it was in terms of fitness, like fitting in time to take care of your body because it's important, right? Like make it important, make it a priority. And now I think I'm thinking about self-care in terms of maybe like emotional self-care by way of like physical relief. is what comes to mind, because these 4 days that I got to spend with some girlfriends felt like self-care, even though it was work because I had my kids and I was taking care of, there.
Well, honey, that's going to be work.
There's going to be a work all the time. It still felt really good. And I realized, I think at first I didn't think about it as a vacation because it's my friend. She lives right like an hour away. I've been to her house before. It didn't feel like a big deal. But my other friend came from Chicago. So for her, it really was, I'm going upstate. I'm taking time off with her son, and she came and it was a vacation for her. So I was like, oh, this is a vacation. We're on jet skis, we're in the water. Like, these are things you go away and pay for.
Yeah.
So having time, and sort of related to last week's mom tip, which was reach out to friends. This was like an extended phone call, overnight, three nights, 4 days with some girlfriends from when I was 15. It was a really, really great time, especially now that we're adults and we all have kids and husbands and, mortgages. It was really a cool and like wonderful way to be with women my own age who know me, who I know, to sort of talk about some grown up stuff and let out the stuff that I said you should call your friend to talk about, right?
Yeah, and you're doing it in person, which is great.
And you do it in person over a couple days, and so it's not just like a full-on dump, right? And it's mutual, right? There's some back and forth going on there, and so it just felt really, really good. Like in action, I took my own suggestion, and the time was just really good. And then also, what was nice is that we had several adults and several kids, but we were able to, whether it was planned or not, take a little bit of time, right? If someone woke up early, all the kids wake up early. So whoever was up early was with the kids. So-and-so got to sleep in a little bit later, or then you were up early and now it's lunchtime. So maybe you get to take a little break. It just ended up being really, really cool to almost like live in a commune, right? For like 4 days. It was almost like a village. And it just felt really good. And it felt like a relief.
But not only that, I mean, you have your friends, right? So you get that moment to go and be with your friends and sort of kind of provide each other an opportunity for self-care, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whether that be emotional support from friends, but it also
and time to sleep.
Yeah, but it also gives your children, right?
Right.
Because you're all friends. It gives your children an opportunity to establish relationships and develop developmentally, figure out where they belong in the whole scheme of things, and how they can develop relationships with their counterparts there. And who knows, 15, 20 years from now,
they might be friends.
They might be friends hanging out.
Right. Lincoln was like, and next year when I'm 5, Max will be 6. And when I'm 6, he'll be 7. And when I'm 7, he'll be 8. And I was like, he's actually 2 years older than you, but I like where you're going with this. Like, I like that you're making this connection that you guys are close, but not the same. And he's still talking about them and he still wants to see them. And then my friend who lives in Chicago, I don't see her that often, but we saw her in November, and now again in June, and then we're going to see her again in September. So like within a year, we'll have seen her 3 times, which is more than probably in the last 5 years.
That's awesome.
So it's really, really exciting. Exciting time.
Now, did you guys get to see fireworks at all this week?
They were doing fireworks on the lake, just like people from their house. We didn't do any sort of organized, like we didn't go to the town fireworks.
Oh, girl.
I think the town fireworks were over the weekend and we were gone. And then...
Yeah, New Haven's was...
Saturday, maybe?
No, Wednesday.
Oh, it happened midweek.
Yesterday.
Oh, I didn't realize.
Oh, yeah, they did.
So then that night Wednesday night, I went to Waterbury to my friend's house and did another one of these self-care girlfriend.
That's amazing, though.
And I didn't take the boys. So James had them at home. And I just went. So I think the last time I went, James was doing work, so I took the boys. And it's not the same. It is nice, and they don't have children. So it's really just me.
That's like the ultimate self-care.
Yeah.
Yeah, I ended up going to the West Haven fireworks. What a mess.
I heard there was fighting.
There was a huge brawl of which included over 100 people, according to what they reported. But I remember being about 150 yards away from the end of that side of the beach. And all of a sudden, you just see a stampede of people rushing towards you. And I was like, oh, I'm going in the water. So I just literally just went in the water and I was there knees deep and I'm just waiting for everybody to sort of kind of pass by. But, the problem that I have is that there were kids there, and
Children,
that wasn't a place
yeah.
for that type of activity. And so you could see there was a group of people that literally surrounded their kids, and they built a wall with themselves, like a whole, like 20 people surrounding all these little kids in the middle, and that wasn't enough. And this stampede just came towards them, and all you see is kids flying in the air, like they're literally like they're picking their kids up,
holding them up. Yeah,
it was scary, and I'm like, wow, this is crazy. And so as a mother, I'm not a mother. I don't know how I would react, but what do you think? I mean, you immediately go to death. So
yeah.
But what would you have done?
I can't even imagine. I mean, I guess you grab your kid and try to figure out how to get out of harm's way, right? Yeah. And that's where a fight or flight. So they were trying to fight, and like barricade because maybe they were already in the middle. I have no idea. I'm not really good with. That
was very impressive to see, by the way. The way they just immediately, like in unison, it just surrounded the whole bunch of kids. God. And then all of a sudden they're in the air. It's like, they were balancing children in the air. It was really incredible to see.
Just that people are so ignorant.
And you know what? It was teenagers.
Oh.
There's a whole bunch of teenagers that started a riot somewhere on the other side, and they worked their way down, and everyone has something to say, and in today's society, you can't tell youngsters
anything.
No,
I know,
because what's your problem? They immediately get in your face. There's no sense of
authority
or respect.
Yeah, maybe authority is not the right word given all the stuff that's going on, but just like regular respect for other people and other people's space.
And I tell you, they had, I think the entire West Haven Police Department was there on Beach Street, and they called the Milford Police Department and the state troopers.
Wow.
There was a lot of police on there.
Wow, that's scary.
But anyway, back to self-care. I just wanted to throw it out there. So you said you saw some fireworks off of the lake.
A little bit,
stuff.
And I don't really care that much about fireworks, and maybe next year when Emery's a little bit older, I'm just always worried that the kids are going to be super scared of it.
Yeah.
And then I am not really into crowds. Like I don't like standing on long lines. I don't like having to wait for parking. I don't like having to like wait in line to find parking and then walk a half a mile to get somewhere. It's not my steez. So I would rather watch those kinds of things on TV.
Where you live, though, you can't.
I can't see it. Well,
because they do them right off of East Rock now.
Right.
They went back to that. Because they used to do that like 20 years ago. They were always being shown from that state park.
Yeah, so I live in a place that's called Hills, but I live at the bottom of the hill. Okay. So when I look out of my window, it's all the trees are in the way. We'd have to kind of go up somewhere to be able to see over the ridge line.
Gotcha.
To be able to see East Rock. Because I remember when the like super blood new moon or whatever happened, super blood blue moon or something that happened a couple months ago. I couldn't see it. I looked out of every single window in my house and I couldn't find it. It was so low and so close that it was behind the trees. I didn't find it, and it was the middle of the night, so I wasn't going to look for the moon.
So you said that that you think that your children might be scared of fireworks. How did they react with the ones that they seen at the lake?
No, they didn't see them. We saw them because it was late at night.
Oh, gotcha. They were already asleep. Bedtime.
Yeah, they were already in bed. Yeah.
Gotcha.
And I run all kinds of noise machines, and I have an app on my phone that plays music for that. So.
Yeah, no, my dog is terrified of them.
Yeah. Just this whole screaming and the whistling and the boom. And I live in New Haven, so there's lots of booms all the time. You don't know exactly what they are.
What kind of boom it is.
Right, what kind of boom it is. But we have lots of white noise in the house, so you can't really hear any of it. Wow. I think Lincoln would be into it, but I wonder about Emery, and I hate to keep him from it if he'd be fine, but I also don't like crowds like that because, look at what happened in West Haven. Mm-hmm. I'm always worried that something like that's going to happen, or I just get kind of ignorant by the end of the night when I'm ready to go home and now I have to stand online.
Well, at least now everybody avoids the water. Just go in the water.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, I just went in knees deep and I was just waiting for everybody
to go by. Okay. Like in a cartoon, right? The whole crowd is going.
Yeah, I was like, it's time to go.
No, I think the one time I remember going to First Night in Boston with James one year, 15 years ago. And that too was at the end, you're trying to get out and James sees very clearly, he's like a
Like a hawk.
Like a hawk. And he's like, we're going to get on this train and we're going to get through this crowd. So he was holding my hand, dragging me through this crowd, like people inconsequential, right? Strollers. I was like, I'm tripping over a stroller wheel. Relax. And he's just like, no, we got to get through this crowd before something goes down and get on this train, right? Like that's how I wonder how he would react in a situation like that. He kind of turns into a bear, just, but he might have seen it coming. You know what I mean? Like he's kind of always knows what's going on around everybody and probably already had like an exit route planned. Like
yeah, I mean, we had time to move out of the way because, again, it started like 150, almost 200 yards away from us. So once you start seeing the police arrive and the crowd rushing,
oh my God,
I was like, well, if I go up that way, everybody's already there, and that's like the exit. I'm going in the water.
Right.
I was like, no one's going to think to go in the water. So he's deep.
Yeah, that's scary. But it's scary. It's scary. It's scary for me to think about being in that kind of situation. So I just don't go. I'd rather watch it. You see it clearly on the TV anyway.
That's awesome. So you didn't have the kids. So
I didn't have the kids, and I went to my girlfriend's house and had dinner over there, and just had another night of kind of like chit chatting. One of them is getting married, so getting to kind of talk about the wedding and stuff that I don't get to talk about because I don't see her that often, and so it was just nice, but also nice to be on my own. Like not running about my runner, worried about my runner, not like worried about who's eaten, who hasn't eaten, who's touching this, who's touching that. Like
I can just picture it.
It was just nice.
You walking out the door. All right, bye guys. Mommy's gonna go visit a friend. Oh, and James, by the way, he's a runner.
Right? He's a runner. Well, they were at home, and I had started making some food. We didn't actually barbecue or anything. We have a lot of food in the house, so if we keep making new food, we're just going to waste all of this food. So I was making a few extra things, so I left some food for them, and I'm not sure exactly what they did, but I got home pretty late, maybe 11, and they were asleep. So it's just been really nice. And especially to have two of these situations in one week has been sort of like a fill your cup kind of thing. And then I guess we had some episode where we talked about reaching out to moms, reaching out, like find your crew or whatever. And a friend from college reached out to me a couple days ago saying she was listening to the show and that she's been struggling to like find her way in her town where she lives. Not a lot of moms of color in her area, not a lot of people she knows. And so she was like, hey, I haven't seen you in such a long time. I was listening to your show. We should get together. And I was like, this is so cool. I still don't think anybody listens. And then that it drives you to act, and that action includes me. It was just super exciting.
That's awesome, though.
Shout out to Janae.
Hey, Janae.
Hey.
And see, that's the beautiful thing, though, right? You establish connections with people that you know, but via this means of communication, you also get an opportunity to establish connections with people that you don't know.
Yeah, it's cool.
That may listen to you and not know who you are, but feel like they know a bit more about you because of what you talk about and how you choose to share your experiences, right? I think, and it's a beautiful forum. It's so why cool. I do it.
Oh, the other thing I want to talk about, which is not really, I don't think it's self-care, but I was sort of laughing at myself in,
that counts as self-care, though. You have to be able to laugh at yourself and be able to take things in stride because that relieves stress and it helps you, and then it keeps the kids stress-free and the husband. So that counts.
Okay, so I was out late last night with my friends, and then
she's naughty.
I know, really so naughty. So I was out late at night at her house doing, like, being a mom. Anyway, and I came home, and the guys are sleeping. So I actually slept on the couch because the AC was running and the living room was nice and cool. And so I was sleeping by myself, no kids under one arm or the other arm or wherever, and feeling really good. And I fell into this deep sleep and I dreamed. I don't dream anymore. Like, I don't know. You don't know. I don't get into deep sleeps because there's always a kid near me, or like I always have to be listening for someone. And so I don't often dream. But I've been watching a lot of Trevor Noah.
He's awesome. I love him.
He's awesome and funny and beautiful and all of the things. So I had a dream about Trevor Noah.
Ooh.
Okay? Now, let me tell you about the dream. That's why it's funny. So my dream about Trevor Noah is that I don't know and I swear to God, I'm going to tell you everything that happened in the dream. So I was looking.
Brace yourselves.
Yes, brace yourself. I was looking for the kids and I couldn't find them. And so I stole somebody's, like, I don't know what year it was, but it was some kind of hovercraft that you get into and you hold on and your head and your upper body is in it. And it's like a jet pack thing. So like, I'm like jetting around in this like hovercraft. And then I run out of whatever. So I have to land. And it's the middle of the night. It's middle of the night. So I end up in like a building cafeteria sort of thing. And everybody's going to see Trevor Noah. So they're like, oh, everybody who's going, Trevor said he's ready. And so then he comes down. Everybody is leaving and he comes down to see who else is there. And it was just me. And he goes, oh, did you eat? I haven't eaten. So he comes down to eat breakfast, early breakfast, late dinner. I don't know. It was like the middle of the night. So we're in this cafeteria and we're eating together and we start talking about whatever the kinds of stuff is. He talked like politics stuff and he's laughing and I'm laughing and feeling like cool because I'm keeping up with Trevor Noah and also thinking, oh my God, it's fucking Trevor Noah. And then we finished eating and we were walking to put our trays away. And so I hold his arm and I laid on his shoulder and he goes, what are you doing? I was like, oh, I just had a micro nap. And he goes, what?
A micro nap. Oh, Lord.
And he goes, what? And I was like, oh, I just took a nap. And then I let go of his arm because I was like, oh, if I'm holding your arm, people are going to think something's going on. And then Gwyneth Paltrow was getting some food from the buffet. And my friend Gabby, who I haven't seen in however long, she came over right behind Gwyneth Paltrow with like, I don't know, some chicken or something in her mouth and like mocked her. But Gwyneth Paltrow couldn't see her because, you know, Gwyneth Paltrow's all into like frou-frou, vegan-y, whatever. And so my friend was like, chicken. But she couldn't see her and we could see her. So I burst out laughing and he's laughing and he's like, okay, now you feel better? I was like, yes, now I feel better. I can go to where I'm going. And then he was like, all right, well, it's nice to meet you. And he goes and I go. And that was my whole like super erotic dream about Trevor Noah. Having breakfast and taking a micro nap on his shoulder.
And that was erotic?
It wasn't. It was like, can I please have a
suspenseful,
saucy dream? And I'm like, even in my sleep, I'm someone's mom.
She's taking a micro nap
I
on
was
his
taking
shoulder,
a micro
no
nap
less.
on Trevor Noah's shoulder. So I was.
But the fact that Gwyneth Paltrow was in your dream, that's hysterical.
I mean, because it was ridiculous. It was another mom who talks mom stuff, right? Has a mom book or whatever. And then my friend doesn't have any kids. She just got married. She doesn't have any kids yet. But it was just, I was like, why couldn't I be having a saucy, like, like boom chicka bow wow, like why wasn't something real? And I swear to God, I'm not leaving anything out of this dream. I woke up this morning so disappointed. Like, who does this?
Oh Lord.
So that's what I was thinking about. Even in my dreams, I'm like just trying to catch a breath. Like just trying to eat a meal, just trying to take a nap, just trying to have like a fun conversation with a nice person.
You took a micro nap.
I took a micro nap on Trevor Noah's shoulder in my dream.
Wow.
So that made me think that I need to do a lot in my wake up time to calm my mind and calm my soul.
You owe yourself a saucy dream.
So I can have a saucy dream.
Yeah, you owe yourself one of those.
I owe myself a saucy dream.
And especially since you were sleeping by yourself
That's what I'm saying. That's the whole setup was right. The whole setup was right for a awesome Trevor Noah dream. And I guess it's what I wanted.
Oh, God. James, don't listen to this episode. Have you had this conversation with your husband about your dream? No.
I didn't tell him.
He's going to know now.
He's going to know now. He's going to think I'm so lame.
He's probably streaming this right now. On Digital Stream Radio, by the way. Oh, Lord have mercy.
So anyway, I don't know if this wraps up very neatly, but definitely the whole thing about self-care, and not self-care as like, oh, I'm going to get my nails done every week or I'm going to get my hair. I mean, those things are great. And I would like to do those things too. But I think on, the budget of time I have as a mom is more, I mean, it's all about the money budget too, but really the time budget is real. So wherever you can sort of sneak in this time, we went to my friend's house half an hour away for 2 hours and it was still like filled my cup fill the kids' cup. You know, it was
That's
just
amazing, though.
it was and we laughed about it because it's like mutual distraction. Doesn't like I don't expect you to make a whole bunch of food. I don't have anything. We just piled into the car. We just came to hang out. My kids distract your kids, distract my kids. We talk about something for a few hours, and the evening is gone, right?
And you
like make it through.
World a little bit.
Forget about the world a little bit. So all those other things are cool. Like I would like to get my hair done. I guess I did. My sister cut my hair. My cousin colored it. I'm really kind of edgy with my purple hair.
Yeah, look, does look cute. You actually straightened it out the other day.
I did.
Really nice as well. So I was like, look at her. She's doing different things.
I know. Well, see, so I'm trying to remember that I'm a person outside of even these three, even the husband and the two little ones. I was thinking just last night that my kids are going to have a weird penchant or hate for peppermint, the smell peppermint, because I do a DIY deodorant and I love it, but there's peppermint in it and they're always like up under me. You know what I mean? Like they want to sleep right up under me. They want to sit on the couch on my neck right up under me. So they're like constantly smelling peppermint and they're either going to love it or hate it and not understand.
Well, they're probably going to end up
older.
like when they smell it at some point, and when they're older, it'll be a little bit nostalgic for them.
Hopefully.
Because in order to have a reaction against something that either you like it or hate it, you have to sort of kind of have a bad experience eating it. You know?
Interesting. No, they're just like face deep in my armpit all day long. I just can't.
Those are your babies.
I know.
Though, you know.
So I love them and I like it. But every once in a while, it's nice to distance yourself from them a little bit.
Let's talk about the fact that your husband left the AC on and you were able to sleep in a nice cool room. That was amazing.
Very nice. Very nice.
Thanks, James.
I know. Thank you.
He sort of kind of gave you a nightcap on that, on that whole thing. And then you just literally laid it out with Trevor Noah and a freaking micro nap on his shoulder.
Micro nap. I literally said micro nap in the dream.
I could have done so much more.
I think anybody could have done so much more.
Mm-hmm. His accent is just so funny, too. I love him.
And I love that he's good at other accents. Like he's good at, I don't know if it's impersonation but he's good at doing accents for other people around the world. So I've been watching him a lot lately. He's good. Should we move on to Mom Tip?
Yes.
Mom Tip of the week. So. Okay. So in line with self-care and making time for yourself, we were doing a little bit of like parenting research earlier, and we found one that talks about giving dad more that's not the right word. They say, this is from parenting.com, says, let your partner take over. Mm-hmm. Encourage him to be in charge of bathing, reading, or tummy time. It's a great bonding activity. So I was looking at this and I thought, this is cool, but like James already does all of that stuff. What I want him to do next is to take the kids and go somewhere. Like, go away.
But you don't come back.
For the whole day, possibly an overnight. Like, Mom Tip of the week is get your partner, whoever that is, to take the kids somewhere for a long period of time. Like a full day, possibly an overnight, so that you can have some time to yourself. Because I find often that I get time to myself, but I have to leave. So I leave the house, but then I end up in Target or in the Dollar Tree or like somewhere that I have no business. I have no business in this place. And I don't really want to spend any money, but 8 or 9 o'clock at night, there's nowhere really open. Mm-hmm. Like maybe someone needs to open a mom's cafe, a place that's open.
Not a bad idea.
From 7 to 11 at night with some cozy corners, some headphones,
and some good coffee.
Low light, some coffee or some tea, some like muffins, like just a place that is not a coffee shop with a bunch of hipsters and, you know, loud music, but is a place that you can go zen. Yeah.
That would be awesome.
I mean, it would be so awesome.
You literally just laid out your business plan.
Oh my God, it would be so awesome.
However, I will say this, husbands, you know, when you do go away or partners and you take the kids, just make sure that your wives have good dreams.
Right.
Don't waste that opportunity on having a lame dream of laying your head on Noah's shoulder. I can't get over that.
God, me neither. Me neither. All day I've been thinking about it. I was like, oh, this is terrible.
She's like, hashtag MomSoHard. Yep. And also I laid on his shoulder.
Right. Just so hard.
Yeah. So you need to prep your mind for your next dream.
Yes. Prep my mind for my next dream, but also get some time scheduled on the calendar for your partner to take the kids somewhere. I mean, I just kind of want to walk. I mean, and use that time and don't clean the house. Because sometimes you get a little bit of alone time in the house and you start cleaning. I don't know what it is about mom's brain that's just like, oh, I have an empty hand and a free minute. I should be cleaning.
Well, I mean, it's also part of nesting.
I know, but like, I've nested already. Like the kids,
you're going to be nesting for the next.
I know. But sometimes I just want to like shut your brain. You just want to shut your brain off, watch some crappy TV, take a shower. You know what I mean? Like, think about life. Maybe you read a book. Maybe you go for a walk. Maybe you call your friend. Maybe a friend comes over. Like, whatever, just for like a moment, pretend like it's just you. It's terrible.
No.
It's because sometimes I feel like it's not that I want my before life. I don't want my life where I was single and I didn't have kids. Like, that's not who I am anymore.
No, but that's
why.
But I
just need a minute.
But that's why the hashtag MomSoHard tip is, push more responsibility on your partner. Take the kids and give me that time, because it could be either dad or mom, whoever's the working parent. Right. Not that I'm saying that you don't work, because you do.
I know.
But in typical situations, whoever the working parent is gets to go away for the day, right? And
even though they're working really hard, we know you're working really hard.
Although they have other distractions, it's not the same to not have in your head that every single 5 minutes you should be turning around and figure out where that child is.
Or that they're asking you something every single minute of every single day.
I think that, for you or for either parent, whoever's the parent that does the majority of the caretaking or caregiving, should have an opportunity to be alone.
Check out for a second. Yeah. So, and of course, that's not to say that the other parent doesn't take responsibility, right? Like, I would never say that. I just think that it's a different form, and it's a different form of relief, even though the other parent might be outside working all day, and that is hard, whatever kind of work they're doing. There's a different level of your own kids on your brain all day that also needs some relief.
I agree.
So anyway, that's the tip of the week. Not only like ask for it, but actually schedule it. Schedule it for the summer, a day or a day and a half. Put it on the calendar and make it happen. You will be very glad that you did.
Make it happen.
And then the final thing I want to say is shout out to James. It's his birthday week. His birthday was on Monday.
Well, happy birthday, James.
Happy birthday, James. Love of my life.
Oh.
All right, so with that...
I'll make fun of him when we get to work.
I know. With that, guys, thanks so much for being here tonight, and we will see you next week. This show is produced by Tom Ortiz at Digital Stream Radio. It's available for download on Podbean. Follow us at Facebook at Breezy Moms Podcast or email us at breezymomspodcast@gmail.com. Until next time, don't stress, just breathe.